We're starting the recordings. There we go. It started. So I don't know if you guys or gals are familiar. We used to have something called Azure Purview, which was basically compliance inside of things like SQL Server and such, data governance. Again, I joke about it. I say the Microsoft has to rename everything once a year. Well, this is the time where we started renaming and having a product brand, if you will, for our information protection, governance, and compliance packaging. So as it says here, Microsoft Purview is a comprehensive solution to help you govern, protect, manage your data estate, no matter where it lies. So today, we had, risk and compliance, and that was, inside of A3, you got Azure Information Protection. Inside of the full A5, you had our compliance stack, which was things like, um, information protection, insider risk management, e-discovery. As a matter of fact, we renamed or rebranded e-discovery and audit. So in the past, it was, you had core e-discovery, core auditing, and then we had e-discovery, advanced e-discovery, and advanced audit. Now it's called core e-discovery. It's still the same, but it's going to be e-discovery premium. Same thing with audit. It will be audit and audit premium. And then we had a unified data governance model that came out of that. Why we're making this change, it's kind of like when you start looking at our security stack, everything has been rebranded to Defender, similar to what we did, during the System Center days, System Center Endpoint, System Center Operations Manager. System Center was the brand, if you will, under Microsoft. Defender is the same when it comes to the security side. Now Purview is going to be the brand when it comes to our information protection governance package. How do you buy Purview? Same way you did with the whether through A5 compliance. If you have A5 or A5 compliance today, nothing changes for other than the name. There is no impact, on current customer subscriptions. Just some of the product name changes, and again, I'll make sure that everybody gets the decks if they want this. And there's also a blog on here, aka.ms/Microsoft Purview blog. But you can see now we went from standard and advanced to standard and premium. Same thing for audit, as I had mentioned. I called it core, but again, customer lockbox is now Microsoft Purview customer lockbox, Microsoft 365 information barriers, and all we did was take out, we added the Purview title to all those. Same thing from product name changes from everything else. So again, we'll make sure you get this so you understand the different product name changes. Hopefully that doesn't confuse people too much. Does anybody have any questions about that before I move on to the next bit of stuff? And that's going to be more technical, not about name changes. All right. So it's in public preview now. We're adding a few things to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint or Microsoft 365 Defender first, the unified submissions about Microsoft 365 Defender. What we're doing and why we're doing it is, it's basically customers have been asking for the ability for us to submit files to Microsoft Defender for Endpoint for review and simplify the reporting process. Currently, you guys have to use Microsoft Defender or Windows Defender security intelligence portals to do that, or CSS customer support services. And those submissions are the only way to inform us of these problems. So if you thought something was a false positive, if you thought something was a malware and it wasn't, those are really the only way for you to submit. Same thing when it comes to Defender for Office. We now have the ability, so Defender for Office, submissions are being moved from email and collaboration section into the Actions and Submission Center. So it's a change within the UI as well. But what we're doing is giving you a single place to do all this. So if somebody were to, in your organization, a link came through, it's a malicious link and you want to let Microsoft know about it, you can make that submission through through the Defender portal. Similarly, if you have it enabled so that your end users can report things. So we actually generally recommend this to go ahead and actually turn on the ability for your end users to report things to Microsoft. So for instance, if something's spam, they can report it as spam. If something's phishing, they can report it as phishing. And the reason we recommend that you go down the path of doing that is because a lot of times your users will send you forward you to email, hey, this is phishing, and then you send it to us, and by the time you send it to us, it's been forwarded 3 or 4 times. The headers have changed and everything like that. When someone does a report phishing, it'll actually capture that message in its entirety, send it to Microsoft, but it'll also put it inside the Unified Submissions portal as well. So you have a place to look at not only administrative submissions, but end user submissions as well. It'll also remove that email out of that person's inbox, so so that so they don't misclick it or anything like that. Again, Microsoft Defender for Office user reported messages tab stays the same. MDE adds files tabs. You also have the ability to add options to submit file and do bulk uploading as well. From here, some additional is the file is malicious. We still ask the same. We ask that you actually password protect a zip file with it being the password being infected. There's no different than today if you were submitted through the Windows Defender or the Microsoft Defender Security Intelligence portal. You still have to password protect it. But we now have a new method so that you can actually submit it based on its file hash. You can also bulk upload from the file hash. So, first we'll try and source this from our sample store, or the customer's sample store. So if you've downloaded that file, if you collected that file, if it's inside of a quarantine, or if we actually collected information about it, we'll compare the hash and see if it's inside one of our sample stores. If not, as it says here, we're going to try and collect this via sample collection. If the sample submission is not turned on, or if it's set to ask the user for permission, we might not be able to collect that just because we don't have permissions to get that file. If we're unable to collect that file, as it says, within 3 days, the submission will fail. When you start to look at the navigation controls, you can actually see, if I do a laser pointer here, you can see here that the submissions has changed. Now you're actually going to see submissions here where it also used to be under endpoint email and collaboration. It's not there anymore. When you go to add a new submission, you'll click the add new submission button. From here, what do you want Microsoft to review? File hash, whether it's malware, unwanted software, or it's clean. So clean would be a false positive. And then the priority. When you do a hash, it's gonna put it into a low priority just because you don't have the file for us, and we have to go around and try and collect that file. So if you have the file and you think it's a higher priority, do it via that manner rather than the hash method. And then you can submit files from there. One thing I do want to do real quick is I want to share my desktop out. Just to give you an idea of what I was talking about, if we go into alerts, and we'll just see this one here. If we go inside the alert here, for instance, right now I can come in here and I can go, hey, I want to submit an item for item for review. I can browse to that file, and again, it has to be password protected. It has to be with a password of infected, and then I can choose whether there's going to be malware, unwanted software, or clean, and then I can choose the priority. I can also include the alert story, which means that we're going to collect a JSON of everything that's going on within this alert and send it to Microsoft along with it so that we can get a better understanding. And everybody has to click the share, submit feedback, and relevant. The other thing you can do is you can do file hash. Now, so you don't have to run around and try and collect all the file hashes. What we've done is we listed all the different file hashes that are part of this particular alert, and then you can choose the couple that you want and say, hey, I want to look at, and then I can choose whether it's be clean, malware, unwanted software, and then I can, like I said, it's going to be low bulk only, and then I can submit that, and again, we'll go through the process of trying to collect more information about those files. I always suggest do the include alert story here because it gives Microsoft a better understanding of what you're looking at inside of that alert rather than just sending some files to us. So again, from here, went through that already, and then the file submitted will be up there. And if you guys have any questions about anything I'm talking about, please, by all means, throw them in the chat or come off mute, interrupt me. We're also enhancing our health reporting, just, so you can better understand your environment, the security state of your environment. As it says here, customers need the ability to understand how their Microsoft Defender for AV health on their devices. They need simple reporting, et cetera. They need the ability to download, filter, and so forth. A couple things that we're updating. So again, previously this 4 cards path, sensor health, AV health, operating system and platforms. We're adding 2 more tabs. So sensor health and operating, we're going to have a sensor health card, operating system and platforms. Windows 10 versions and greater will be updated to Windows versions soon. And I should have removed that this will be owned by the ILDC team because you don't know what that is, and neither do I, but it's an internal team who owns the process for that. But I need to remove that from here. But Microsoft Defender, Antivirus Health, so you can see some of the things that we're adding to it. Just to get a better understanding, clicking on the snapshot bars will drill down deeper, so it's not just a flat view. And the reports, of course, can be filtered. So what do I mean by that? This is the sensor and health sensor health and operating system report page. And when you click down in there, it'll get drilled down deeper. Microsoft Defender Antivirus Health page, again, clicking on the bars will open up Microsoft Defender Antivirus details in a flyout. Similar to all the other flyouts that you're used to in Microsoft 365 Defender. Reports, again, can be filtered, data from Defender AV, more flyouts, etc. Just so you can get a better look at, just a snapshot of what the antivirus health looks like. Again, from the flyout, you can actually filter and export on there. So if you're looking to customize the columns, you actually can filter on there. When you actually filter on it, you set the filters up here, and then when you actually filter it, it'll actually show you information in the flyout based on your filtering as well, and then you can export from that as well. Troubleshooting mode. One of the things that we heard from customers is that when you have tamper protection turned on, it's very hard for you to troubleshoot things. So you might have somebody that says, hey, I have a specific application that Defender for AB is blocking, or I'm getting performance issues and I think it has to do with Defender for AV, and local admins are unable to go in and actually turn off tamper protection or to get to the settings they need to get to, because tamper protection inside of our product is a little different than, like, McAfee used to just password protect the uninstall and that type of thing. What we do is default to an everything on. So even if a malicious attacker went in, piece of malware tried to turn us off, everything's enabled by default. It's turned on. They can't get to that. So when you push out policies and you have exclusions and stuff like that, they happen normally. But if an attacker goes in and actually does something inside the registry where it affects us, we actually just turn on by default. So we're secure by default. Just some of the troubleshooting modes inside of M365 Defender. The admin manage settings are RBAC. So, the command is sent securely over the C2 channel, which is from within Defender for Endpoint. So you can't actually send a signal out, or an attacker can't send a rogue signal out, because it actually has to come from our M365 Defender portal. The mode is applied to a device. It starts a snapshot of what happened. It also takes a snapshot at the end of it, and we actually report this in the audit logs and everything like that, so you know exactly what happened during that time frame. It's also sets up for it's 3 hours, the time frame for them to do that. At the end of 3 hours, it ends it, and then in order to start it again, you actually have to turn on troubleshooting mode again. So just some looks, you basically go into the device page, you hit the 3 little dots, and then you pick troubleshoot mode. And as it says there, turning on troubleshoot mode for this device. I'm going to go back real quick. I'm going to be playing 2 videos here just so you can get a demo of it. Hopefully everybody can hear the sound. I tested it out beforehand, so the sound should be working. Please let me know if you can't hear the sound. No, of course it's not working, right?
It's working.
Let me try stopping and resharing. Oh. See, I tested all this stuff before I started, and it's still. Stop presenting, try one more time. If not, we'll move on from it. Let's see, try one more thing.
Hi, today I'm going to demo Troubleshooting Mode for you and show you the portal admin and local admin user experiences for this feature. So the first thing that we're going to do is going to Windows Security app, Antivirus and Threat Protection, Manage Settings, and here we see that Tamper Protection is managed by the administrator, and Cloud Delivered Protection and Real-Time Protection are managed by Tamper Protection. So you can see that I cannot toggle any of these toggles. They're locked. These are also locked in the registry and all the other management options that are available to the local admin currently. So over here I have the portal, and if I go into the device inventory and I find the device, so this is the device that I'm on right now. What will happen here is there's a new menu option to turn on troubleshooting mode. So on the device page for the particular device, and then you go into the actions drop-down menu and you see the troubleshooting mode option. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that on. I get a flyout. There's a notice letting the admin know that the local admin will be able to change configurations that they are usually not able to change. Also talking about some other things like the mode will last for 3 hours, and that at the end of this time you'll be able to collect the logs from this scenario using Collect Investigation package. So when I hit submit, we'll see a banner letting us know that troubleshooting mode is on, and the device itself just got a toast notification saying that troubleshooting mode has started. Alright, so one thing that you'll notice right away is tamper protection is no longer managed, but you can see the tamper protection is still managing real-time protection and cloud delivered protection. But now if I turn tamper protection off, these two settings are no longer managed by tamper protection. I can turn them off, and we get another toast notification saying that these features have been turned off. Real-time protection has been turned off. Thank you.
All right, one more video here. Hopefully it doesn't autoplay. If it does, it's gonna be a little loud at the first point. I'm gonna.
Hi.
Oh, yep.
So we're about at the end of our 3-hour window. So here pretty soon there will be a notification popping up saying that the troubleshooting mode has ended on this device, and then I'll show you the change that we're going to see in the menu. So right now we see troubleshooting mode is on. All right, and as soon as we see that toast notification, we should see some changes on the device.
And I'm going to jump ahead because it's 1 minute and 45 seconds of her doing that.
Okay, so we got our notification, and when we got that notification, you can see that these settings are now managed by tamper protection, and tamper protection is managed by the administrator, so that's really good. And then over here we look and we see menu is still showing as on, so let's refresh. Okay, well, while we wait for the menu to refresh, let's go and look at the timeline and see some events. Okay, you can see that we've run the mode on this device a few times. We can also go into the Action Center, and we see that troubleshooting mode was applied. Okay. This is also where you would do your collect investigation package to collect that the information that was packaged up. So that would be the snapshot as the mode started and a snapshot at the end of the mode and the MP logs that are collected while the mode was going. All right. And we can run a hunting query. Okay, so you can see we have devices showing up in advanced hunting that have run the troubleshooting mode. We can do some other ones to see exactly which device. Okay. So that is troubleshooting mode, and thank you for watching our demo.
And again, just some of the advanced hunting queries that you can run on there. And you can see when the devices started, when they stopped, how long ago they went, and some more advanced hunting queries on there. All right. And that is the end of what I had today. Does anybody have any questions based on anything that I went over today? Yeah, you're right, Jeremy. That there should be something, a refresh button inside of there. I will submit that feedback for you. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to stop the recording. I will be on for a few more minutes, so in case people were a little camera shy,